Thank you for tuning in to Connect More, featuring the shared experiences, new adventures, and nightmares of four pals who have known each other for decades. Connect More utilizes the swear jar concept to raise funds for the American Cancer Society. When you hear this during the episode, the offender will contribute to the swear jar. We'll update the swear jar each week at the end of the program. We hope you enjoy the show. Hello, Connectors. Welcome to a very special episode of Connect More. In this episode, we celebrate our first anniversary of our program. I'm your producer, and this episode, we're going to have some fun looking back on how we got started, the highlights of the last year, and a look ahead to our bright future. I'm sure all of this will result in a heavy amount of contributions to our swear jar to benefit the American Cancer Society. Let's bring in the hosts of Connect More. There's Eric.
Hey, yo.
There's John.
How are you?
There's Brian.
Greetings.
And that's Jason.
Hello, everyone.
So as we kind of get started in this first segment, I have a big question. As the producer here, how did this start?
I always wanted to do this with these guys. And especially during the COVID year, I really bugged these guys to do this. Now, we were all in different places than we are today, kind of busy doing some other things. But we've been talking about it for a while. We've had this thread of texts that, we think are very funny. You know, we, as listeners know, we like to crack ourselves up, and and we wanted to share that. But as we got through COVID, and things progressed, some of us changed jobs, some of us found money, time, not a lot of money, but more money.
I want some money. Who found money?
Yeah. So I mean, I found money because my kids moved out of my damn house finally.
Good point. Yeah. Where'd all this money come from? Oh, it's like, I've always had this money. It didn't leave. It's not leaving, now.
It's kind of like when the kids get out of diapers or they get out of daycare and you're like, woohoo.
Right.
And if you're implying we put money into this, let's correct that right now.
Yeah, I was going to ask where my money is.
Somebody change the subject quick.
I'm sorry. Can we edit that out where I started with the money thing?
The Gen Z person wants to be paid. What is wrong with them?
Nobody wants to work these days. So you wanted to start it a long time ago, but why now? Because we're coming up on a year, which is a pretty big deal. 365 days, 26 regular episodes of Connect More. So why right now?
Well, I think I want John to answer that question because he was finally my first person to say, let's do this. And I think once we had two of us in, then the ball really started to roll. But John, why did you come in and finally say, look, I'm very serious about this. Let's go buy, a couple microphones and get going here.
Let's hear it. Patient zero.
I think there are two levers that were at work. The first is that, we used to worry a lot about what was said in public, especially ramifications on our careers and, where there was public work being done. We've just seen so many of the gotcha stories about on this podcast, he said such and such, and then he canceled himself, right? And so that was where we had people who were in public facing roles, particularly Paco. I think that was a concern about, because I wasn't going to let him do that. I was worried that something that I would say or some conversation we would get in, and then, it would become a thing, and you're not trying to create a thing. You're trying to stay out of things. And then I'll let everybody kind of talk about this piece too. But for me, I just really I enjoy our group chat and the opportunities we had to get together. And I really looked around my life and I was like, whoa, this post-pandemic life doesn't have a lot in it in the way of social contact with people who used to talk to me about things like just stupid shit, the products that you're buying or the movies that you saw or just what's going on in your life. And the very simple, like, what was the last book you read thing, right? And I just was not getting a lot of that. And so that was the selfish piece for me, but I think it opened up something a lot bigger that maybe I didn't understand when I did it.
Well, I'll say you failed not making a big thing because obviously Cherrygate happened.
Well, you invite an idiot onto your program. That's what you're going to get.
Ask stupid questions, get stupid answers.
Hey now.
I think
hey
that's
now.
a shot at the producer.
She edits these. You don't.
Yeah, I can make a couple more things happen, buddy.
Damn.
And we did establish Brian can tie a cherry stem with his tongue, right?
Gross.
We did not.
I don't remember that. I don't remember that. I could shoot at 100 meters, but that's about it.
I bet you can, you little vixen. So John said yes, and then I don't know, like Jason and Brian were like, okay, right? I mean, you guys were at that point when we had 2. You're like, let's go.
No, yeah, it wasn't a big deal.
Yeah, it wasn't it definitely was not a stretch for me to think about getting some of the, because again, like John said, I really our group chat was an important part of my day. Like every day we would say something funny, and almost every day at work I will say something like, we were just talking about that in our group chat. Like it comes up in my daily life with my family and my coworkers and things. So it was not a stretch for me to think that this would translate well into a podcast. Because, and to be honest, we would talk about this stuff more in our chat than we would in person. So the idea of turning that into an in-person discussion was very attractive to me. Like, that's going to be a lot of fun because this stuff is fun in text. Why wouldn't it be fun talking about it?
And also, like we stated before, we rarely, the 4 of us rarely ever get together in person. Might be 2 of us, might be 3 of us, but it's rare it's all 4 of us, except for this podcast. So this is the way to do it.
It was, yeah, and it was the more connecting, and that we realized, again, we've talked about this before, but just real quick, we've had friends that said, there's a lot of people that don't have what you guys have. You should share this. You should model this so that maybe other people, and that's our goal, right? Was to model this sort of relationship of, especially, I mean, we kind of talk about it all the time, but especially like guys. I mean, we're there's some of that masculinity out there that's not so great. Maybe they don't know how to connect with other people, let alone their own friends of similar tastes, and we just want to kind of show them you can sit around and talk and be a little vulnerable now and then, and it's a lot of fun.
So I read a lot of these healthcare reports or articles or whatever that report on social isolation and loneliness as being huge issues among seniors. Now, I'm not saying that we're going to be seniors real soon, but man, it's closer than it was. And I think I was reading a lot about it and all of these numbers about how devastating it was for people, shortening their lives, making them, enter depression or even just not have, good nutrition, things like that. And but I wasn't reading a lot of solutions, right? What is it that people are doing? And other than like rent a friend, arrangements, I didn't really see anything that made sense to me. And so that's one of the real drivers for me here. It doesn't mean that we think we've achieved that or that I think we've achieved that, but I think this is a really interesting experiment, like really interesting, more so than it was when we started.
The study that was done years ago that said loneliness is as bad as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. I mean, that was shocking to me. That was a very serious study, and that was frightening. So if we can help people out of that funk, I'd love to do that. Because also the answer you're not connecting with anybody on Facebook. That's Facebook or X. That's not That's not the healthy connection we're trying to promote here.
So let's say this as loud as we can. Arguing with another person on the internet does not count as connection. That is that you're not having a human interaction. I just read where Vice magazine created rage bots to argue in its comments when it posts on Facebook. So they've got one called Edgelord and one called Woke Chide or something. And so they just fight with each other, and it's AI. And that's beautiful, right? Because what a perfect modeling of what they've sucked us into doing for the last 15 years or so, and we have an obligation to find a way out of that.
Beautiful is not the word I was going to go with, but I'll allow it.
So if any of our listeners at home don't know, I am not a middle-aged man, and
I prefer the term senior adjacent. I'm senior adjacent.
Senior adjacent. We'll go with that.
You do have to call us Mr. now.
Okay, Mr. Edgecop. But something I think that is also overlooked just because you're not seeing it, but my perspective, like I recently graduated from college, not so recently, but somewhat recently, and I don't really have a lot of friends that are outside of my age demographic, which I also think this like intergenerational communication, conversation is important to have as well. And that's something that I think we're really lacking nowadays just because it's so strict, like the age separation is so strict. And so that's something that I've kind of found to be a benefit. I know I'm just the producer, but I get to listen to you talk about things and have conversations that then I can talk to some of my coworkers that are your age or my parents, and we can have conversations that are different because you're letting me into a world where, like just today in the group chat, because I am a party of the group chat, I could make a Chess King joke, a little callback to some of our earliest references that we made on the pod. And so it being known, you know, that you all have been friends since before I was potentially a twinkle in my parents' eye, how did I get roped into this? Tell me, please. I want to know.
Mostly because obviously I did some radio and stuff in my time, but my time was 30 years ago and a lot of things have changed. And fortunately, you and I are related. And as the four of us sat around and we're like, we want to do this pod, but now we don't know what to do. What do we talk into our phones, Zeddy? Do we just record a phone call? What I mean, seriously, we were scratching for any sort of technical help for sure, and then even just support for how the media world works now, really. And the first thing I said was, "Well, I'm calling my niece Prusha. She does this now, video. I'm sure she can do audio. That's part of it."
Well, and the other part of that too was when we were thinking about doing this, we all agreed we don't just want to wake up in the morning and like tape ourselves being idiots. We want this to sound good and we want it to sound professional because during our research phase, when we are listening to other podcasts like this, there's a lot of garbage out there that sounds terrible and it's not edited and they don't use music and they don't use transitions and they don't use intros properly and all that stuff. And we told ourselves, we're not going to do that. Like, let's do something that's worth it.
Yeah, we didn't want to, I mean, no offense to some of those folks we listened to, but we didn't want to waste anyone's time. Like it was, I mean, in a couple of them, it was like 3 or 4 guys literally sitting in a garage and cracking a beer and talking for 90 minutes. And we're like, well, we know what we're not doing. So that's why we needed the help of a professional.
That's right.
Like Prusha. And then I guess probably the bigger question is all this is, why in the hell did you say yes?
That's exactly right.
Well, so you called me, and I remember because you hadn't ever called me before. I don't think.
Yeah, me neither. Me neither.
I'm gonna say what I say to other folks too. Look, that phone goes both ways. I'm just gonna.
Very true. But I mean, that's a positive because I don't think we ever really had, not that we didn't have a reason to call each other, but like we hang out when we're family and then, when we're working, we're working. And so you called me and I was like, yeah, totally. Like I would love to. You were kind of explaining some of the reason, obviously, that we just talked about. And all of those sounded really good to me. And what a way to be able to use my skill to both connect with the four of you, but also help you guys connect with more people, helped me connect with more people. And it really does feel like, you know, that we're contributing to something that's greater than ourselves. And I'm all about, not that we're grassroots, maybe we're indie radio, indie podcasting right now. And so, you know, it felt good to be a part of the indie podcast world.
Pump up the volume.
Pump up the volume. You beat me to it. You suck.
I have to say though, I remember, you know, because as is well documented, I have the worst memory of any of us. But I remember having that conversation with Prusha. I remember right where I was. I was in Ruben and Chuck's basement when I called you, and you were like, I thought, how am I going to twist her arm to do this? And you were like on board from the start, like even almost more excited than I was. So I appreciated that.
Yeah, absolutely. It sounded like so much fun, and it's such a creative idea. And for you guys to want, like you said before, to take it to the next level and really have it be something special, I mean, that's a fun creative challenge for me too. And some of my favorite episodes that I worked on were the holiday episodes, the game show specials. You know, I spend like a week editing those to make sure they sound good in the ear, and you know, I'm spending a lot more time making us sound good and sweetening up our voices so that everyone can enjoy from wherever they're listening to. So yeah, no, I was definitely on board from the jump, and I've been really excited to also get to know you better, all of you better throughout this process, because I remember when I was just a little kid, like I knew of you all and I had been around you all, but really I'd never been able to participate in a conversation with you before. And so, you know, I feel like I'm participating, and it's really
Were
fun.
you forced to call Brian Uncle Weenus?
Yes.
Oh
Yes.
my God.
I was.
They all are.
Yep, they all are.
Oh my God. DHS, if you're listening.
Yeah. Just send the therapy bills to your uncle.
Yeah.
That's right.
Isn't-
Without your technical advice on this, we just could not have gotten it off the ground, from the microphones to how to structure our little studios we've made, our little closet studios, and just the idea of like how to edit together all of the voice tracks. And there's just no chance we come up with this. We would have flailed for 6 months and then abandon it, you know, at a certain point. So thank you.
That's for sure. I mean, folks, we did like 3 rehearsal episodes before we ever put the first one up, and there was a lot of struggles with the audio quality and how to do these things. I've recorded from let's see now, 3 different bedrooms, 3 different bathrooms. I'm kind of in an office now. Oh, a couple of closets. Yeah, I've changed everything I could to finally find something. And then I was kind of on the road once in a while too. So I had to do makeshift studios and closets here and there. I think John had to do that as well.
I have been on the road. The other challenge is remembering to upload all the files, and some of us are good at that. Brian's pretty consistent at it, but most of my contact with Pru is her reminding me that I have failed to upload my episode audio yet again. So thank you.
Prusha calls it quality time with the hedge.
Oh yeah, no, it's so good. It's so good. And I just want to say, nobody else who listens to this will recognize having to prompt me on anything, so it'll be very confusing.
All in a day's work as the producer, all in a day's work. So this brings me to another phone call that we had. We were kind of trying to problem solve. We were doing every other week we were doing an episode, but now we're doing episodes every week. And we call those shorties. Why did we start doing shorties, and why are they called shorties? Why aren't they spelled shouties? I thought we covered this in a game show episode.
Yes, guys, why did we go? So we thought our time was so precious we couldn't possibly do a full episode every week.
We also didn't want to overwork you. That was the
That's
other
true.
part too.
That was a
That's right.
consideration.
It was.
Yeah. Because there's just a little bit more production in the full episode, you know, a few more cuts and segues and music and stuff.
We
but-
didn't know what length was the right length. Was it more like a 45-minute thing, more like a 35, or more like these 10-minute thing? Like if we were to do 4 distinct 10-minute things a week, that might be a thing, right? But we just didn't. We were messing around with the format, and I'm still open to doing that. By the way, Pru, do you think we should be doing these shorties?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And I think you should have me on every single one of them. And I think that every single listener that listens to this podcast should send in a question and ask us something, because, folks, I'll tell you what, I'm running out of things to ask these puds. I'm running out of things to ask these puds. And I'm not going with AI. So we definitely need more give me some inspiration, folks. I know you guys have the burning questions. I'm just a little Gen Zer. There's so much I can do. There's only so much I can do.
Eric,
Well, I
what's
guess-
happening here? You said you had a demure niece who was going to help with the technical stuff. She understood how to put one of these on. And what am I dealing with here now? What have we wrought?
A diva.
Ooh, there, I love it.
The podcast diva.
Nice.
You know, we did a I can't even remember how actually then having Prue read the questions came also out of some feedback we got from some of our friends who were listening early on. And I can't remember, Prusha, if you were on an earlier episode, but someone's like, who's that? We'd like to hear more from her. And then that's how we got you reading the shorty question. And then you come up with them, and they're on our site that we all share. And I don't open those questions until just before the show when I write the script. And so it really is short time. I remember the first, couple, right? Brian, do you remember these? Like we got the question, we hit record, and we're like, duh. I mean, we had
What the fuck?
not so. So the first couple were kind of rough. So what we started doing is, it still would be a little bit more of a short turnaround. We would record a segment, or we would record a full show, and then as we were resetting to do a shorty, that's when I would tell the guys what the question is, so they had a couple more minutes to think about it. So that's how we do it. So it is still a short kind of turnaround on those. Real quick, Brian, what were some of your favorite shorty questions that's Prue's thrown at us?
Oh, I got two words. Worst fruit.
I'll never forget Cherrygate for as long as I live. That's second to the Franks in the Chili's. That's yeah.
Making memories, baby.
Oh, answer the question.
Yeah,
Ma'am.
what's your
Ma'am.
answer to it, Prusha?
Worst fruit.
Oh, all right. Well,
You
I
gotta
know
answer.
all my adoring fans that ask for more of me, when they pull me out of the closet twice a year, here I am to tell you that the worst fruit is a strawberry. Like, actually. Like, they just don't taste flavorful enough for me to get into it. And, like, strawberry milk doesn't really taste that good. Like, strawberry flavored things, it's just weak. It's a weak flavor. That's my opinion. I don't
God,
like
that's almost un-American. I
Yeah,
mean,
how are we ever going to add listeners with that? What are we
Yeah.
going to do with that?
That's almost
How we gonna-
Cherrygate like.
How do we feed that into marketing?
Yeah.
It's counterproductive to your marketing plan.
All of our listeners can chime in the comments and tell me how wrong I am.
You need to be a
tell
little
me-
more inclusive there, ma'am.
Wait, this is trolling. Wait a minute, it's trolling. I'm beginning to understand.
It's called hate engagement, guys.
That's a hate engagement. I found another new word, Prue. Sloptopia. That's fantastic.
Yes!
It's about it's the dead internet, and there's nothing out there, and it's just Sloptopia, which could be another name for this show, but we'll do that as an episode title.
Googling now to see if there's any other podcasts out there called
Copyright
Sloptopia.
Sloptopia. That's right. Oh my God.
But I'll be real with you, I don't really like any fruit. And I am like #1 pickiest person in the whole world. So like I'm like, apples are good. Used to eat a lot of bananas. Don't really like bananas. I have had a durian, or a Durban, actually.
That's right.
I have had durian flavored candy, and I did send some your way for you all to try, which that was really fun. But yeah, I loved that episode. That was a really funny shorty question. And I find myself like answering them in my head when I'm editing them. I'm like, what would I say? Or like, I get into fights with you guys, like as I'm editing, like, that's so wrong. Like, what are you talking about?
That's
And
great.
so that's the editor's
love it.
delight.
Prue, so this feeds into my question for you, which
Mhm.
was, have you tried any pizza as a result of this podcast?
Yes, actually. So after we had our shorty with the what's your favorite pizza,
Mhm.
you talked about both actual pizza locations to go to, I believe, and we also talked about frozen pizza brands. And I actually responded in the group chat about you guys talking about Tombstone Pizza is gross. Tombstone Pizza is gross. And it tastes like
What?
cardboard. And I've only ever had good Tombstone Pizza made on a pizzazz, which is like this heating device that has a little arm and then a rotating disc that you put the pizza on. And it like warms it slowly all the way around. And that's how you get good crispy pizza, specifically Tombstone, because it's thin crust. Without burning it, because I always burn Tombstone Pizza. So that was my pizza adventure. After I listened to that episode, I was like, I should try a Tombstone Pizza again, and I did.
So for the record, you never passed out drunk while having a Tombstone Pizza or cooking a
Unfortunately-
Tombstone Pizza. Oh dear.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. This is
Oh
going to get...
dear.
Her parents are listening, so this is going
Oh,
to get edited
dear.
out for sure.
True confessions
No.
time.
No,
Spill
I
it.
never.
Just say yes, I
never-
did, Your Honor. Just say yes, I did, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor. I would like to be represented
Your voice
by my
says
lawyer.
something else. Your face says something else, ma'am.
I'm gonna pull you out of this, Prue. I'm gonna help you out. You asked us a shorty question about like ghost like experiences, and I think you had mentioned that you had one in me and your aunt's house one time. What was that?
My only paranormal experience was in the basement of your house. And I was down there. Jackson, shout out, my cousin. Love you. We were playing like hide and go seek in the dark, or like cops and robbers in the dark or something. And I ran into your bathroom, or actually I ran around the couch, which is kind of diagonal from the bathroom mirror. And I was looking into your bathroom, and in the mirror, I saw like this ghostly head of something. And I was like, oh, there's a person in there. So I ran back to Jackson. We turned all the lights on because we were both really scared. And he's like, yeah, I think a soldier died in this house. And I was like, oh my God. So I saw the ghost of a dead Civil War soldier in your bathroom.
Well, now we're going to have Jack on to figure out what soldier this is, because I've never heard this story before.
Did he drop that on you in real time? That's really
Nice.
impressive.
That is impressive.
Mm-hmm. Well, and what was so freaky is that bathroom, you had like hats hanging on the wall. So like at times there were like maybe heads or hats propped on something. So like there was a lot going on that could have potentially debunked my ghost experience, but
Well, those hats have seen some shit.
Yep, they have. Yes, I can confirm. Yes, they have.
maybe that's what I was
Appreciate-
seeing then.
Those hats were those hats have been with us since the first 24 hours. Me and your aunt have known each other.
Oh, wow.
We've had those hats around for that long.
I was wondering why they stayed. Like those hats persisted even
Yeah.
throughout my adolescence.
Yeah, Tanya
Yeah.
wonders that too.
Well, just to get the
We're still
listeners up
talking
to
about
speed.
hats, right?
Well, just to get the these are like, so they're like big wide brimmed straw hats that kind of hang on the wall as ornamental pieces. However, they do make appearances for different photo opportunities when the occasion arises.
After 2 a.m.
Only.
All right, so for all my adoring fans, I'll probably be back in a year to answer some more shorty questions, but when we come back, we're going to try and figure out what we've learned from this last year and what we've heard from our favorite connectors about the show.
Hey, yo, it's Eric from Connect More. Listening to the Connect More podcast has changed the lives of our listeners. Here's what they've had to say.
You see, folks, when I listen to Connect More during my daily commute to work, I cry less than usual.
Sometimes I laugh so hard, I pee a little.
I now put hot dogs in my chili.
Since listening to Connect More, my itchy, flaky dandruff is almost gone.
You can find Connect More anywhere quality podcasts are posted.
Welcome back, Connectors, to our 1-year anniversary episode of Connect More. We open with how we started, so now let's talk about what we've learned. Folks, what have we learned in the past year?
Big thing I think we learned is it takes time and effort to develop an audience. We were kind of told we've done a lot of research and asked other podcasters, and they said basically grind it for a year and, hone your skills, make it good, and then worry about getting out to a broader audience. And so that's kind of what we're doing.
I have to, that's the thing I've learned too. And it's been kind of frustrating at times, but we all just, we get in the group chat and remind ourselves we're still on the grind. We're doing that every once in a while. We plug our numbers into AI, and AI wants to continue to encourage us so that we continue to use it. And it tells us we're doing pretty good for an independent podcast.
We were, we talked about the guys in the garage before, and like we had a lot of learning to do about what good content is. And I'm a guy saying good content drives everything. And what I had to learn was not to talk for 5 minutes, right? And so, because listening to one person for 5 minutes it's that's extraordinarily boring after a while, especially when it's supposed to be a give and take. And so keeping that in check is important. But the other part of this is like, you're only as good as what that last segment was and whether it was interesting. And so, and of course, we want you guys to share in the humor that we find in all this stuff too. But like, we put the person who is assigned to write these episodes each time puts a lot of work into thinking about how they want to approach it. And each of us does a little bit differently. And I think we're evolving. And for me, that's been the most fun, is to see like, what kind of a segment did they come up with? And is that interesting? At the same time, there's some stuff we do that we could sit around and do for hours, like band names. Band names is our very favorite thing that we have as a recurring motif, and we usually put it in the whip around. And we could do band names as part of the closing of the show every single time and bring something interesting. I had a band name hit this afternoon, for example, and we've been doing this for 37 years with each other.
I'm laughing because I just added another band name to the list this afternoon when my daughter and I were out shopping for PRUducer's wedding.
Well, and I think something that you mentioned, you talked a little bit about the humor of it. I think something that you've learned is more improv. I know I kind of pushed you guys early on to start taking some bold takes, or, not having as much be rehearsed and trying to get out of the linear radio workflow now that we're into the podcast world. And I think that's something that you guys have improved greatly on. I mean, there are times where I'm sitting behind my computer laughing out loud at some of the things that you're saying, or the timing of the back and forth. And those are some of my favorite moments, and why obviously I'm still doing the podcast, because it's funny.
I will say that's something I've tried to learn how to do too. And this kind of gets back to the group chat. I always feel like a carefully composed response in the group chat that's a real zinger.
Yes.
Man, there's nothing better than like putting one in there and hitting send, and everybody's like, oh. But it's harder. But it's harder to do.
He is good at those.
But it's harder to do live. It's
Yes.
harder to do on the podcast. So I'm trying to figure out, like, how do you bring that same energy to the podcast? Because that's what makes the group chat fun, I think, is when you can put a real zinger in there. But it's hard to do.
I believe I was called a needy little bitch with an animation within the last 48 hours. It drove me to a SpongeBob response.
and we need to bring that live. But I agree with Jason. It's hard to do. But I think more important, what we've learned though, is also like take that shot. because one of two things is going to happen. They're both going to be funny. It's either going to be really funny or it's going to land on its face, and then we're going to pick on you about it.
That's right.
So it's just throwing. Or the third thing is, we use the Hedgecoth line. Now you can edit this out if you want. So we always know it can be edited out too. And that's another thing we had to learn with PRUducer's help, actually, is that we're not doing this live. Actually, I mean, we can we can babble on and edit things out as we need to. So that's where we have learned, I think, to take more of those chances and throw more of those things out there and take a little bit more risk that way.
This is something else in the vein of that. Why do we do the show? But like, if you can't take a direct shot, a shit right on your friend, you don't have a friend. You've got an acquaintance or somebody that you work with, right? You have to be able to look right at that guy. And I don't think we ever laugh as hard as when one really lands. And if you're going to get all butthurt about that, if you're going to skulk away from the group, then, this is probably not the podcast for you.
That is true.
That's him speaking as the victim most of the time. So that's okay.
Well, okay, so you can hear from me, all the things we're doing right and all the things we're doing wrong. But what feedback from other people have you received? Eric, you talk about all 8 of our listeners. What have they all said to you?
There's 9. Come on, man.
We've just been informed we're up to double digits,
and 4
I
more
think.
than our sisters, right?
Yeah, I think we're at 10 double digits now.
Okay.
Shout out.
Look, I do. I have actually a serious answer and a funny answer to that. But I think the serious answer is we've actually heard back from people that really get a kick out of just listening to guys sit around and give each other shit, like we were talking about, and create discussion amongst other people. Prusha, you've mentioned it already at least twice in this episode. We even get you thinking about how you would respond, and you've even taken those questions back to your coworkers, and right there we've done what we want to do. I listen to these episodes with my wife sometime in the car when we're taking longer drives, and we have to pause it because she's got to tell me why John's an idiot and why I'm wrong and how I didn't remember something right. So it's accomplished when we hear that. We had a good friend who shared this with their coworkers because she is actually concerned about a couple of her coworkers that they're pretty isolated and stuff. And she said one of them came back a few weeks ago and said, I really enjoy watching these guys just sit around and laugh with each other. And that's fantastic. And if we can fill that void for some people, that's great. But if they can just take that and just, inject it into their next family outing or whatever. And then my more humorous response to this is, like, nothing is more controversial than the cha-ching after we do a swear word. Like, we got people that absolutely love it, and we got people who fucking hate it. Cha-ching!
It's too loud. It's too loud.
It's loud.
Kind of censorship. I'm also kind of censoring y'all for all those Boy Scouts, Jason, that are listening.
Oh, like I never heard it before. Come on.
That's hilarious.
We have a reputation. We have a reputation to maintain.
Well, the other thing that, because I get the swear jar thing too. People who listen who I know, they're like, I love the swear jar. I hate the swear jar. It's very binary. Like, you don't get anybody that's just like, meh. But the other thing in my household that folks are not huge fans of is whatever that the intro is to the whip around, those kids chanting.
Oh yeah.
People in my household hate that. They're like,
people hate that, but I like it. Yep.
Well, and that's what's important, Brian, is we're trying to take care of you.
That's right.
Hey, as executive producer, I am not changing the whip around song.
Did you just name yourself executive producer? Did you just add an E to the EP?
It's been a year.
Eric, is there a mute button? What is happening here?
I get a raise, right? I mean, promotion. It's been a year.
You get a 5% raise off of 0. Weenus, help me with the accounting. 5% of 0 is what now?
0.0.
It equals the word executive in front of the producer.
That's
so
right.
I expect all the I expect all the credits to be redone now, and it's a executive producer.
Done.
Done. So I kind of want to, if we can circle back to the whip around theme. So we got that music from a friend of ours, and we purchased that music, and actually, Prusha, you took what I gave you is that whole piece of music, and I thought we were going to use the intro of that piece of music, and because what we wanted was something a little chaotic, and that's what he gave us. But then, like Prusha went into the really chaotic part for that, right?
Yep. If you want chaos, you gotta serve chaos, and it's I think it's so funny the way that it goes doo-doo-doo-doo, like straight after someone starts speaking, because it's kind of like a whip pan. Like if you're talking visual film, it's like the most startling. It's hilarious, and I think it adds a comedic. And I think people's outrage over it also adds to the comedic effects of the whip around theme. So. I know all fingers are pointing at me right now, that it's my fault that it sounds that way, but I stand by my creative decision.
I just watched Lord of the Flies, and that would be the perfect theme song for it, FYI.
And I think that means it's a perfect outro song for the whip around also.
That's right.
Lord of the Flies.
That's right.
More whip around.
That's right.
It makes sense.
Yeah, we stole the whip around thing from sports radio, and so that's our little attempt to be like as cool as the people that we listen to on like ESPN radio during the day. And I don't think we would ever do like a whole show based on whip around, but it is really nice to have there.
I want to give the other part of that whip around. Jason and I need to give credit where it's due. Also, is that also came a little bit from the NPR's "Wait, Don't Tell Me." When they do the credits, and they say, when we come back from the credits, our panelists are going to say what, headlines or whatever are going to be in the news next week. So we just wanted something to end the show a little quick and sharp on, which sometimes not always quick and sharp. I wanted to hear from Brian Brian's got some listeners around him. We know that. What do they say about the show?
They really like it. So they want more. That's the thing I always hear. They don't like the shorties so much because they're too short. They really want more. And I'm like, well, we're going to probably tweak things, and, I don't know, we'll probably tweak the shorties somehow, some way, but they just want more of us, which is fine. But I can explain the reasons why, but it doesn't work out so well.
Well, they're going to have to start paying for you as a guest speaker.
That's right.
They want you.
That's right.
You can't keep doing this for free.
Do we set up one of those Patreons or whatever for that, Prue? For these folks who want more? Is that how we do that?
Exclusive content.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. No, and we'll do a late night version, like after midnight, Quiet Storm, Connect Noir.
Ooh.
No, so a lot of the feedback we got, especially super early, was obviously from our family and friends. But Prue, you were getting feedback too. What do you hear?
It was the volume of the cha-chings. And that's how I knew what age range we were primarily hitting for our demographic.
It's funny. Turn it down. Cash register noise again. I'd rather hear them fucking swear.
Make the font bigger. It's that same kind of criticism.
Yeah, we say, as we all, looking at the Zoom, we all go like this with our progressives to try and get to the.
And really, I think the other thing that a lot of people said was that, and then I passed on to you guys, is they love when you rag on each other. I mean, that's what's so special about having a group that's as tight-knit as you are and has been together for that long, is that you kind of bring us into the fold of some of these inside jokes, and you tell us some of the stories that you've experienced. And it really does bring us into your friend group. And that was something that I heard from a lot of people saying, like, wow, we really feel like we're a part of this. And I think that's been one of the coolest parts about the podcast, is that you mentioned before, it's not only a listener base, it's a community of people that are talking to each other, because not every podcast has a fan base or like a fandom around it. And I think we're seeing the inklings of a little fandom because we have, you know, our inside jokes and our debates, and you encourage people to talk to each other. And now that we've gotten the bad stuff out of the way, you know, all the awful negative feedback we've gotten, the rage comments in the Facebook page, and you know, we've had to talk to our lawyers about a couple of you. In our last segment, we're going to talk about our favorite moments in the last year and look ahead towards the future.
Hi, folks. It's Jason from Connect More, and with me is Connect More co-host Brian.
Hey, Connectors. Are your regular old-fashioned American candies becoming too consistently tasty for you?
Are your traditional candies textures too pleasant?
If so, then you should turn to Cricket's Candy Cart. That's Cricket with a K.
Cricket offers you more Mexican candy flavors and exotic textures than you could ever imagine.
That's right. From watermelon to tamarind, from gooey to gritty, Cricket's Candy Cart has it all.
So, next time you're in San Antonio and need a break from good-tasting smooth candy, check out Connect More sponsor, Cricket's Candy Cart. That's Cricket with a K.
Welcome back to Connect More's first anniversary episode. Today we are celebrating our first year of programming. So let's talk about some of our favorite moments. But tell me again, what's up with the candy tasting? This is something that's become a behemoth. It has a life of its own now. Why are we still tasting candy? Why am I getting it shipped to my house? Why am I shipping it to other people's houses? I didn't get to go to San Antonio, so I was out of the first round. Like, why is
more
that
coming,
still a thing?
honey. There's more coming.
I'll tell you what, I've squirreled away still some of that candy from the first round for you, Prush. I think it's probably going to wind up in the form of a wedding gift. Oh, spoiler alert. Oh. But yeah, right. What? So I guess it did start with when Tanya and I went to San Antonio, and our good friend Ruben's niece sent us back with some Mexican candy, and enough for all of us. And she I think, you know, she wanted us to try it and test it on the air, and we're like, they're a perfect listener suggestion, right? And so really it's kind of Cricket's fault that we started doing this, and now it's blossomed out into let's see. I mean, if you check us out on Facebook, you're going to find some other I guess food reviews from us. The Mountain Dew Dunkers from Quickstar. My sister and I did a review of the Oreo Bomb Pop Oreo Freedom thing, which did not go well.
I feel like we have a unique opportunity, and glad that we're doing this podcast during America's 250th, because the food combinations coming out of this year of our birthday is some of the craziest I've seen yet. So great on the timing for you guys.
Well, all you have to do, though, when you're tasting that stuff, you just have to take a bite and go, tastes like freedom. and then move on. That's all you got to say.
Wow.
What else have we done? Jason's done the Skittles, the spicy Skittles,
the Fuego Skittles. Yeah, we did that.
Yeah, I like those.
I would do candy tasting every episode. We could make this Candies Around the World tasting podcast. That would be just fine. We've had the most fun doing those, and I'm glad we did. And by the way, it's Cricket's Candy Cart, San Antonio, Texas. For those of you who are looking to follow up with some of the Mexican candy we tried here on the show.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, they had an advertisement in that game show episode or something, right?
Yeah.
I think they did.
Yeah.
There might have just been a commercial for that just played a few moments ago.
Just got to be careful with the merch on that one, because the whole KKK thing throws people off.
We might have to fix that.
Yeah.
With the C. Throw C in there. Throw C in there.
Somewhere, please.
So on top of the candy, which I'm hearing we need to get a PO box and maybe have some of our connectors send us some candy or something. I think that's a venture worth going towards. But alongside the candy, what are some of our other favorite moments of the podcast so far? I know we've talked about the cherry gate. I know we talked about the Franks and the chili. What else has made Connect More history?
Well, I think it's anytime we get Eric to break. That's the fun. And that was the Franks, and that was the fruit. So,
well, I'm glad you brought that up because I was just going to mention my first like real breakup, and I think that's where we wound up laughing at that when it happened too, and listening back to it, and we're like, okay, this is where we can, as Prusha was telling us, get more off script, right? But I remember my first actual breakup, I think, was during the Chess King episode.
Oh yeah.
When Brian admitted he had a phobia about going to Chess King because he didn't know which side was the boys and the girls. It still kills me.
That was pretty good.
I know it's going to be a good episode when Eric immediately goes to the group chat and was like, well, that was shit.
I totally agree. That is the good housekeeping seal of approval on a great episode. Because when we lose Eric to a break, we lose him. Like he's like it's 2.5 minutes of we're going to have to redirect this because we're not getting him back.
Yeah, you get radio voice Eric, and then all of a sudden you just get him off it. That's like, yes.
Yep. And post giggles Eric is the best one. That's right.
We did it.
Yeah. Thank you. I get that from my mom.
Well, can I take this in a different direction for favorite moments? My favorite moments were Brian talking about his sister and talking about getting lost in the woods, and Jason talking about climbing the 50-foot tower to put up the Christmas star. I just felt like I was getting to know my friends on a deeper level, and it was really important for me, like really important. I had dimensions of these guys. This stuff doesn't come up. It doesn't come up unless you have a structured conversation like this, and especially for guys, where we sort of redirect away from this stuff in favor of talking about what brand of lawnmower. And I'm just so grateful that I got to hear that. I think about Jason crawling up there with that star all the time.
Yeah, I think that's a really, I think that's a really good point. And I like that too. Because I've been amazed. You just mentioned some of those that I've been amazed, like how we've been hanging out these many decades, and there's still a few stories that we haven't even shared with her. We don't even know. Right. And so that's a lot of fun. And then obviously, if you guys don't know it, some of our listeners don't know it. Some of them are funny. Some of them are lesson learning tales. Right. So that's fun.
Yeah. I mean, I really loved a couple episodes ago, just sitting back and listening to the three of you talk about your childhood together. I mean, I knew you guys and have known each other for 40 years or whatever, but you told a lot of stories I'd never really heard the full extent of. That was fun for me, like describing what Prairie was like and what the elementary schools were like, and it was interesting. And I've known you guys for a long time, and that gave me some good insights. So I that was one of my favorite moments. So
yeah, the broken femur told me a lot.
Well,
it was an accident. It was an accident.
But you're still friends after all of that. Like I probably would have freaked out. I don't know.
I want to know how many listeners actually Googled traction after that episode.
That's funny. Yeah, we didn't have ghosting. We had to go another 7 years together in school. So.
That's right. We were stuck seeing each other at Prairie the way it was set up. We were stuck seeing each other for several years after.
You might as well make the most of it then. Yeah. And I think something that, and not to pit myself as, the young one in this group, but it gives me a different perspective. As I'm thinking about like the lives that you all have lived, I have things that I'm like looking forward to. Like you have life experiences that I haven't experienced yet. And a lot of people talk about like, getting older as being a bad thing, but the parties that you're able to throw, the facts that you can have houses, like the vacations you've been on, like all of these things are really cool and give me insight into like what it's going to be like, and it's not bad. Like it's actually fun, and you guys make every effort to make it fun. So that's given me a lot to look forward to. On that note, I know we have, a a corporate meeting coming up, and we can't divulge too much of what the future looks like. But where are we going? What are we doing out here? Where are we going from here? What's our future plans?
The number one thing I hear about is more women's voices on the pod. And so it's hard to do something that sort of showcases this friendship, but also has that, the other perspective. And of course, you are a huge solution for that. And, I think more Pru is part of the answer. But I think we've just toyed and wrestled with and teased this notion of having other members of our family on, and particularly, their spouses at some point. And so we continue to tumble that over, and we'll see if that becomes part of the solution to having more women's voices.
We do get that, and we do get that, and I actually agree, because we always get this huge bump from the audience and audience comments when we have Pru on those shows. Like when we did the Festivus and the game show, and whenever she's on the Shorties, and I think I would love to work that in there, work you in there more if we could. But I'm with John too. I think everyone here knows, and I think maybe some of the wives know. We have all four of us have very capable wives that could jump on the show and do this with us or for us, but also along those lines, like maybe something, a new segment or some sort of other deal with our Shorties where we incorporate guests or something.
I mean, because that's something I'd certainly be interested in hearing from our audience. Like, I guess, Weenus, you kind of alluded to it before. Like, why don't people listen to the Shorties? Like, we can look at our analytics and we know what's going on, but people just don't listen to them. And like Weenus was saying, maybe it's because they just want more from us. We're irresistible, and they just want more. I don't know. It's just.
I heard they want more of me.
Oh, maybe that's it. Yeah, maybe that's it.
That's funny. Jason heard the same thing. They want more of me.
I think it's because we didn't name it SHAWTY. I think that was a really big missed opportunity.
Could be.
Well, this is getting me even more excited for the future. I think that calls for a whip around.
Whip around.
Whip around.
All right. No doubt someone's wondering where we are by now. So before we get called back to reality, let's stick and move with some quick takes, fast laughs, and we're out. It's time for a good old-fashioned whip around.
Let's go. God, it's good to hear that intro being done properly.
Amen. Hey, fucking man.
Oh my God.
Good cadence. Good job out of you. Wow.
Thank you.
Listen, he's only said it like 25 times. Give him a break.
That's right. He'll get it right one of these weeks. Can we get a blooper reel? Like one segment of just blooper reel of Brian trying to read the intro to Whip Around?
I leave it all in.
It's my favorite part of the week. When Weenus reads the Whip Around intro.
Quick and dirty, ladies. Let's predict what may happen in the show in season 2. What do we think?
Well, I think we're going to expand our merchandise line. We need more merch. Our audience is certainly thinking about that.
Yes,
so I think
3
what
more
we're going to
mugs
do
is what I need. Yeah, no, my
stapler's coming. Yes.
So what we're going to do is we're going to.
Oh, you're getting Dale his stapler? He's going to be
Yes.
really happy.
Yes. The stapler's coming.
Oh, we're gonna send Weenus to Farm and Fleet, and he's going to connect more crumb caca, and we're gonna send him all over the world.
Yes. Yes.
That's coming in season 2.
You spent all afternoon on that, didn't you?
I didn't think you could make crumb caca sound more dirty, but when you say connect more crumb caca, I just feel like that was even worse.
That sounds really bad.
Say it faster.
I'm looking forward to the Connect More monogrammed Tech Bro vest. That's what I'm looking forward to.
Oh
my God.
Yes. Yeah, we are well behind getting that done. Absolutely. Yep.
Please give me sleeves, please.
The
please.
wicked water resistant thing, super
Give me
thin.
sleeves.
I want
please.
to
Gore-Tex.
when I walk. I want to be aerodynamic.
We'll get you some Connect More pleated chinos.
There we go.
There you go.
There you
Nice.
go.
I may still have some if we.
I think our fans are going to be seeing us in conventions all around, the continental United States, excluding territories.
Or at least the Iowa State Fair.
Yeah, at least that.
I'd like a business card. Can we get a website going?
A business card.
Come on, let's step it up.
Can I just, I know we're supposed to be doing a whip around, but let's, we go off the tracks a lot on this. A person in your generation still wants a business card?
What?
Oh yeah.
That's amazing.
Oh yeah, it's like vinyl.
Anyway, where were we?
Well, it's not like she can put this in her book or on her resume. It's not like she can show this to an employer.
No, I want to frame it and have it in my office right above the editing computer. I want to remember what I do it for.
What was the whip around question?
Oh, yeah.
What is going to happen next season? I think we're going to make it to triple digits connectors. There's going to be 100 of you.
Wow, triple digit connectors. That's a big, you're stepping out there.
Wow.
You know what? Aim for the moon, and if you fail, you land among the stars.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any stars between here and the moon, but
never heard that before.
You're no Don Cornelius. I'll tell you that right now.
My answer is guest hosts. That's what you're going to see in the next year. It won't be all just the four of us jabbering on every episode. We're going to shake it up.
I see guests. I see a sponsor or two. I see a lot more funny moments. And we know what is funny and what has worked for us. The earwig is coming back. The band names is going to be part of that. That's going to be pretty consistent. So some things are staying, some things will tweak.
Awesome. My prediction for season 2, as it were, is that John will actually listen to an episode of this show and correctly cite it. Yeah. He's going to come back one day and say, hey, did you guys know we did a Festivus episode?
I was listening to this podcast this one time.
Wait a second. Does sponsorship mean that I get a raise?
No,
it means you get more salsa.
Oh,
yes.
Right.
We might get a cake. We might get a cake. That's about it. Yeah. Just for John, we'll get a cake.
Yeah, our internal, I'll just let him in on this. Like our internal kind of inside joke about the pod is that, someday we'll be able to buy a cake, like a sheet cake to celebrate with. And cake has become a, currency stand-in. And so we think maybe 2 cakes. This might be a 2-cake podcast by now.
Whoa. Settle down, big fella. What would that be, a cake for us and one for Prue Show on her own?
I was just thinking a cake each year, we do a cake for this first year and a cake for the second year. One cake at a time.
Well, connectors, we might let you in on a little bit of that cake. Thanks for hanging out with us for the past year. Let us know, as always, what you think of the show, or if you have a topic you'd like to discuss with our crew of puds. You can send us your voice memos or notes to connectmorepod@gmail.com. That's cnxmorepod@gmail.com, or on our Facebook page. So, puds, congratulations to us for staying on the air for a whole year. Woo! This is where I'm going to edit in a bunch of confetti and And we're off to celebrate with vats of Diet Coke and Diet Dew and a juice box for Jason. Cheers!
There you go.
Rock
There
on.
you go.
Closing credits, please. Thank you for listening to Connect More. I'm the producer. Please subscribe and like this podcast because it's my only chance of getting paid for this gig. Connect More is a product of Pan Tiger LLC and is hosted by Brian Danielson, Eric Van Lanker, Jason Nisus, and John Hedgecoff. Connect More is edited by me and Jocko. The showrunners are Jax, Hedge, and Weenus. Theme music written and recorded by Ryan Veeder. Cover art designed by Leon Golden. Musical director is Evil. Legal liaison is Brian. Lead writers are John and Eric. Runner-up writers are Jason and Captain Danielson. Publication coordinator is Jax. Special thanks to GVC, Aaron, Miss Roper, and Yoko. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Make sure to follow Connect More on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube.